Transgender sports bill. First, you will not find one example, not one, of a competitive advantage by a transgender athlete in Kentucky. You will not find one. The reason is KHSAA was ahead of its time and has already implemented very stringent standards and rules that prevent it. I mean, the rules actually say they prevent it. They say that an athlete either has to transition before they reach puberty, where you don't have then that hormonal potential advantage, or you have to go through hormonal therapy for enough time to where there is not a competitive advantage. It's directly written in. So KHSAA has already very strictly prevented the thing that people are trying to get other folks riled up about. There cannot be an athlete with an uncompetitive advantage in Kentucky under the current rules. So, what then does this do? I worry that it makes kids that are already struggling feel worse about themselves. Listen, I remember middle school. Middle school was hard. I have kids in middle school. It's hard on them. Now imagine middle school with social media. Now imagine middle school being a child who is trans, who's probably either not on a sports team or certainly not playing it for anything other than meeting other kids and trying to be just accepted as a human being. Listen, I love sports. I love watching them, but my faith calls me to put compassion and care for my fellow human being above anything else. You know, I think about one of my favorite stories in the Bible where, you know, at the time, people would keep kids away from major religious leaders or government figures, right? And Jesus turns to his apostles and he says, let the kids come to me and do not hinder them. He didn't read in any exceptions. None. And this is something that governors of Indiana and Utah have done. So anybody claiming that somebody's being driven by any woke this or that, well, first of all, I read that to my wife and she laughed out loud and said, do they know you still try to wear a suit you bought 20 years ago? And we're just trying to do the right thing. I think people by now, through everything we've been through everything we've said at this podium, knows that I'm not driven by any base. I'm driven by what I believe is right. And here, I'm trying to put what I believe is a calling to always come at things with the greatest of care and compassion for our individuals, especially our youth first.